Hey guys, this is Dale Walker at Whole Shop Performance Products. I make motorcycle performance parts. Here's an old pro street bike of mine I'm restoring from the late 80s. Anyway, this video is just for fun. This is about my 99 Isuzu Amigo. I love Isuzus. I've had about 5 of them. And I had another 99 Amigo like this one that I built just for out here in the beautiful Nevada high desert, that you can go for basically, my property's 9 acres. You go to the end out there and then open a gate and you can go. It's all BLM land. You can go as far as you want, 200-300 miles. There's ghost towns. There's all kinds of things to see everywhere. Anyway, I just thought it'd be kind of fun for you to see this thing and see what I did to it as far as just a little desert toy. It's not a rock crawler, it's not a Jeep, but these things work pretty darn good. They have a 4-link, actually a 5-link. It's kind of like a little miniature FJ. Very similar to the Honda Pilot of those days. Actually, Isuzu built the Honda Pilot back in the late 90s. And this, I think, 98 was the first year of this particular upgraded model. And then I think it went through about 2002 or 3 when they changed the name to Rodeo Sport. But anyway, I had another one just like this that was awesome. Had tubular bumpers, full-length skid plates, bumpers in front. This one I'm leaving the bumpers alone. My brother-in-law, Paul McCain, was a desert racer. And he owned a fab shop for 18 years and built chassis, mostly Volkswagen stuff. But I wanted to show you this in case you have one of these and you want to do a few mods. Just it's pretty simple. So these are the Old Man Emu springs and Rancho shocks. There's a certain part number for the shocks front and rear. It raises it up about 2.5 inches, almost 3 inches. Not the body, just the suspension. The front you can crank up just with the torsion bars. I'll show you all that stuff. The only thing I like to do, which I haven't done yet, is up on the top here. I normally add a 1-inch spacer, and the Dodge Ram, late 90s Dodge Ram leveling kit front spacers fit these springs perfect, and a 1-inch is what you want to go with. Well, here's the part number of the shock. Can you see that? Maybe I'll list it in the video, or somebody asked me, because you have to have the right length shocks. And then the other very important thing is to build yourself, buy some limit straps. See this limit strap here? Okay, and then you have to extend the rear sway bar link, make a new one. So the best thing to do is you put the thing, it's good to have a lift. You can do it on, well, it's pretty hard on jack stands. You have to have a lift. Well, you could do it on jack stands if you put them under the frame and droop this down. But anyway, you leave the springs out, put the shocks on, and then you can let the shocks droop all the way down with some screw jacks. And obviously then your limit straps, right? You want the springs to just barely be snug with the full droop. So, but you don't want to top out the shocks and wreck the shocks. That's what the limit straps are for, if you go off a little jump or something. And then up here, I don't know if you can see it, I got this stupid light going on, sorry. You have to make little spacer plates. See those? For the bump stops. So in full compression, you also don't squish the shock. So you can run the shock up without the spring again. Maybe keep it a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch from bottom. And then I think we did 1 inch is what worked fine with this setup. The last thing is some of the kits out there. That's why we make our own. We made our own. I had one kit first, but the rear upper trailing arm or stay arm for the rear end on this side, not this one. This one goes over the gas tank. They don't need to supply another one. It's just straight. And so when it bottoms out, it'll just hit on the gas tank cover. So we remove it and we made a radius in it and modified it. See it right there? And my brother-in-law is really good. It's split here, slid with a piece of solid tubing inside, and then it's welded and rosebud welded a couple spots. What's neat about these two, these are Dana 44s. I don't have lockers, I don't have anything, gear changes or anything. These things work pretty damn good as is. They're positive traction, and they work surprisingly well. Anyways, you can see I've been cleaning this thing up. This car, I had one and my buddy got all wound up because mine worked so good, and we found this one in California. It had 18,000 original miles on it 6 years ago. This thing right now has 29,000 original miles on it. And I told my buddy, hey, the day you want to sell it, I'm buying it. So finally that day just came. I've only had this thing about 3 weeks, and I've done a shitload of work to it already. So everything's cleaned up. Every single thing under here is serviced. Both diffs, transfer case, engine oil, bled all the brakes, flushed the fluid, all new brake pads. They were getting a little thrashed. And so anyway, up here we got your other shocks. The torsion bars are just cranked up. I'll show you kind of how the ride height is when I let it down. And again, this Rancho shocks in the front with the little turn knobs. They work pretty good for the money, actually. I did put locking hubs on it so it can freewheel when you're just going down the highway, so you're not, it's not that much of an angle. I don't think it would even hurt them, but better on the CV joint. Okay, let's let it down. I think that's kind of enough under here to get the basic idea. And what I did is my last one I had KO BF Goodrich's on it, but I put the new Grabber ATX. What a great tire for the money. They're about 60 bucks a piece less than the BF Goodrich. And what works really good is this size 265, 75, 16. I trim my fenders and everything. Right here normally, some guys beat this all in with a hammer, but it's a butcher job and it's still borderline enough clearance. So in here I removed the plastic. I'm going to show you this while it's still up. I removed the plastic liners, and then this used to stick out to about here. Okay, and then there was some little angle tabs that the plastic liner. So I cut this all out, the little circular saw, and radiused it just beyond the pinch welds of the seam here, spot welds, right? You don't want it falling apart. And then in here I still want to make a little panel. It doesn't hurt anything, but this goes in, not inside the car, but into the door. And so that'll get all packed with mud and dirt. So you make a little, either a rubber shield or a little aluminum panel that will come over here and just fill that in a little bit and keep the crap from flying in there. Okay, the wheels are Pro Comp. I used to have little Mickey Thompsons on this, but they quit making them. These are Pro Comp. They're a 16 by 8, 6 lug. I think they're 5.5. They're the same bolt pattern. Yeah, 5.5, which is a 139 or one. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, these are 16 by 8, 4-inch back spacing. And this is what I ran before. The only thing I didn't like about the Pro Comps, these came matte black and they looked like you threw charcoal on them. They were just terrible. I painted them satin black. In the desert, they get thrashed anyway and scratched, so you just touch them up. But again, those are the Japanese copy. Pretty nice. I had these before. They never broke. They work real good. Nice and smooth. They lock in and out nice. So let's let it down. So what I did on the fenders, this time I was going to leave, I took off the plastic flare and I was going to leave part of the metal flare, but it just didn't look right. So I went and trimmed the fenders like I did last time. I made a little block of wood the width that I wanted. And you can just, I kept one edge of the block of wood sharp when this was still all silver and the stock flare was still under, with the plastic flares removed. And you just run that block of wood and you follow that radius, and it stays in that radius pretty well. And I left a little sharp edge on the wood and it just made a little scratch mark just perfectly around that radius. And then I use 1/4 inch painter's tape to tape it off. I've done a lot of stuff like this, so have a pretty good eye with just flowing lines and stuff like that. But it just takes practice, no big deal. If you make a mistake, you just peel it off. But anyway, so I've taped it all off, which would be down here. I have a nice little molding on here now. And then I continued this line here, above here. I measured from the body line here, pull a tape measure tight up to here, and it's about 18 5/8 inches. And that would, and I put a little dot all the way down the car. And that would be the bottom of your tape line. And here you just got to eyeball it, okay? So what I did was I came around, and then the stock fender, of course, hangs way out with the big ugly lip. And so I went back and forth how much to trim that off, and I wanted to blend with the, you know, with how I cut the fender off. So it turned out real sano. And what I use here, this is all done with spray cans. Underneath, Krylon, satin black, Walmart. Stuff works great. The bumpers, I used to use the Duplicolor truck coating, and the reason I like this is, sure, it's not as tough as maybe Herculine or some of the other ones that are strictly for the beds. This is what this is too, but I like this texture. It's not too bumpy. It doesn't look like cottage cheese. It's a nice texture. But Krylon just came out with theirs. You can buy it at Walmart for, geez, under $7. And so, yeah, the bumpers are that color. The whole side's that color. And the rear bumper, all the way around. What's nice as it gets thrashed, you just touch it up. Also, the top was really bad. It was all white and completely turning, you know, getting old and sun faded. I did the top too. Same stuff. Worked great. Oh no, my battery's going dead, my stupid little camera. Still got a little bit left. Maybe we can finish this. I'll just let it down. I was going to pull it out, but I'm getting low now, so I don't think I can. So, another thing I did is I tape off the grill. The grill, I like to use this Duplicolor trim and bumper paint. It's a real nice satin. It's a little more flexible paint. It doesn't chip as easy. Sticks really good to plastic, and I just prep it. Everything I did, I prep with the purple medium scuff pad. And the sides, I wait and I clean it, then I prep that really lightly up to the tape with the scuff pad, and then I wipe the whole thing down with a brand new polishing cloth with lacquer thinner. Let it dry. Then you're ready to paint. Tape everything off super good. The stuff oversprays crazy. Anyway, here's the engine compartment. Very sano. I used to have an air kit on my other one. It did really no more than this. So what I did is a K&N panel filter, 3-inch hole here. Get a light. 2-inch hole, additional hole back in here. Okay, here's the stock snorkel where it would connect on through the fender. And another 2-inch hole here. I leave that like that, and then I blocked off there so all the dirt flying up from the tire can't get in there. I made a block-off plate. See it? Aluminum plate. Drill two original holes right there for your stock snorkel outlet. So I blocked that, and all this crap just flinging off, you know. Sure, it's warm air, but they still like it. It still breathes a lot better. And it's in here, not getting as much dust. Put this down. That thing's pretty cherry, isn't it? So anyway, yeah, Yeah, look at this. You see the miles? 29,176 original miles. Bitchin'. Well, if you have any questions, just ask me. My battery's going lower. I'd pull this thing out. Maybe I'll do a second one outside or whatever, but it's a basic idea. These things are a great desert toy. They're a lot of fun. Tougher than hell. I ran the shit out of my other one. It had 108,000 miles on it, and it was still cherry. It still was good, though. This one has a long life ahead of it. All right, guys, have fun. Cheers, dudes. Bye.